Hello, my name is Andrew Stevenson. I've been playing Epic for about 25 years off and on, and got back into it a couple of years ago. Started with the standard sort of Space Marine, Orcs, and some Eldar, and I've always thought to myself, I'd like to try some of the other armies that weren't necessarily produced at the time. One of them is Necrons, which are basically undead in space. And yeah, so here's my army that I've collected and some tips on painting, which I'll say towards the end. This is a Necron monolith. You can get them from a company called Shapeways. So if you look up shapeways.com, they're basically a 3D printing company. It does a lot of different things, but some of it is Wargames material. If you look up Deathbot War Pyramids, that's Deathbot War Pyramids, the particular designer is a guy called National Cheese Emporium, which is interesting. And you can get four of them for about 35 US dollars. Given that you need four in a Necron company, that's perfect. So you can just get one lot of those and that will give you a company. I ended up getting two lots because I wanted to have the capabilities to field more if at some point I wanted to. This next model is a pylon, which is also a very, very good weapon the Necrons can have. The same manufacturer, or the same, so shapeways.com, and the designer, National Cheese Emporium. If you click on his link, it'll show you what he makes, and one of them is called Deathbot Death Rays. That's Deathbot Death Rays, and they come in packs of four. You're generally only going to need one. You probably only be allowed one in the game, but you can also use them broken for objectives and things like that. He also does one called, what is it here? A Deathbot War Barge. I can't find any mention of that in the rules, so that may be something you can customize with house rules, or you can use that as an objective. This is Catan, the Nightbringer, one of the so-called star gods that the Necrons have. I literally just found a 28mm model that I felt looked quite good. I wanted one with a scythe, like the classic death figure, but I couldn't find one that I liked. They looked a bit too cartoonish. Excuse me. So I ended up going with this one. I painted it a dark greeny grey because then the black of the face, the sort of the vacuum of the face stands out. But you can, anything you like, something that's quite big and impressive and nasty looking will do you well. This is the equivalent of a Necron Titan. It's basically a 40k model, so it's the biggest scale, the 40k, the 28mm scale, and it's just a Necron tomb spider. You can buy them secondhand online. I probably have one knocking around who talk nicely to me. I just got this one and painted it up, gave it a bit of weathering, a bit of scratches and so on, and mounted it on the stand that it came with. These next two shots from a company called Trolls Under the Bridge from the Czech Republic. They do quite a bit of stuff actually. It's worth checking them out, and the range is always growing. The first one here that you can see is the destroyers. So Necron destroyers, they come in enough in packs, I think, of 3. So I ended up getting 4 packs, which would give me enough for a company. They are quite fiddly to put together. They're basically, you have to glue the torso on, which is not too bad, but then you have to put both arms on, and that can be quite fiddly, but they look good, and they're good weapons to use. The next slide, excuse me, the next slide is also from Trolls Under the Bridge, as I said, and it's basically the Necron warriors. They do other warriors as well. Since I've collected these, they do immortals and flayed ones, which I have got some and painted them up. I just haven't put them on here. And they also have wraiths. Wraiths are really, really fiddly. They're in a 2-piece model, but very difficult to put together. So yeah, I've got some, but they are difficult to do. The next 4 are also from Shapeways. They don't correspond to any particular model in the game, but it's worth. I like them for objective markers. What I tend to do is I tend to create objective markers for each army, quite specific to them. So I use this one here. You can see like a little obelisk with 4 outlying obelisks as an objective marker. This next one is what's called an Aeonic Orb. I quite like it as a model, but it doesn't fit with anything in the game as far as I can tell. So again, I just use it as an objective marker. This next one looks like an Egyptian Egyptian obelisk with different cartouches over it. It comes in a pack, I think, called Eldritch Eldritch Eldar or something like that. There's about 6 different things that come out. Like there's a webway gate and there's a landing platform and so on. So that, I think that's worth getting because it gave me some Eldar objective markers as well. But this one, being an Egyptian-looking obelisk, I thought was quite nice for the Necrons. And the final one, sorry about the angle of the camera. Again, just it's from Shapeways, and they come, I think, 3 to a pack. And I think they're supposed to be 15mm or even 28mm scale, but they look quite nice as some sort of reactors for the Necrons. And the final slide we've got here, the final shot, is the entire army. So you can see everything laid out there, and it looks pretty impressive when you put it on the table. You've got the infantry, you've got the cavalry, which is the destroyers. You've got the monoliths, which are basically your heavy assault guns, and then you've got Catan, the Nightbringer, and the Tomb Spider, which I think look really good. The pylon you can see off to the right, and you can see the objective markers in the background.